Welcome, everyone. Today we are stepping into the shoes of a senior Microsoft 365 administrator. We will explore the critical foundation of any M365 tenant, the organization configurations and domain management within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Let's get started. Let's begin by understanding our primary workspace, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Think of this as your central command hub. As noted in your first bullet, it is a unified web portal where all tenant-wide management happens. Because it is role-aware, your view dynamically adapts to your specific administrative privileges, keeping the interface clean and secure. Why do we use it? Centralization is key to enforcing consistent security and collaboration policies across the entire enterprise. Through the navigation pane, you can seamlessly pivot to specialist portals, like Exchange or Teams, for granular control. But today, our deep dive focuses specifically on org settings. This is where you establish the very identity and boundaries of your digital workspace, dictating how your organization presents itself to the world. Look at the diagram on your screen. At the top, we have the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, the apex of our management hierarchy. From this central node, administrative capabilities branch out. We have user management and pathways to specialist centers like SharePoint and Exchange. But follow the path to org settings. This specific node acts as an umbrella for three critical pillars: domain names, organization profile, and security and privacy. As we progress through this training, we will unpack each of these three child nodes, starting with domain names, which forms the bedrock of your corporate identity. Now that we know where to configure a tenant, let's talk about identity. In Microsoft 365, your domain name is your digital fingerprint. When you initially provision a tenant, Microsoft automatically assigns you a default fallback domain, which ends in .onmicrosoft.com. While functional, it isn't ideal for business. That brings us to the why. Attaching a custom domain, like contoso.com, is essential for professional branding and ensuring your outbound emails are trusted by recipients. How do we do this? It all happens right in the domains menu under Settings. As a senior admin, you must understand the scale available to you. You aren't limited to just one custom domain. A single tenant can house up to 5,000 domains, allowing complex enterprises to manage multiple global brands and subsidiaries seamlessly within one unified environment. This flow illustrates the domain lifecycle. It begins at tenant creation, immediately generating your fallback on Microsoft domain. From there, you face a decision gate. Do you add a custom domain? If you choose no, that environment is typically restricted to testing or internal use, as using the fallback domain for public email is highly discouraged. If you choose yes, you unlock professional branding and trust. The final node highlights the scalability of this architecture, showing that your single tenant can effortlessly support thousands of custom domains to match your organizational growth. You have your custom domain, but you cannot simply type it into Microsoft 365 and start sending emails. You must mathematically prove you own it. This is the verification process. We achieve this by placing a specific TXT record into the DNS zone at your domain registrar. Why is this mandatory? It is a strict security gate that prevents bad actors from claiming your domain and intercepting or spoofing your corporate communications. How you verify depends on your registrar. Modern registrars support Domain Connect, which automates the entire handshake using API authorization. If your registrar doesn't support this, you must manually copy a unique TXT value generated by Microsoft 365 and paste it into your DNS control panel. Delving deeper, this TXT record doesn't alter your web traffic or mail flow. It acts simply as a secure beacon. Once Microsoft detects it, your domain's status shifts to verified. Let's walk through the sequence diagram to visualize the manual verification handshake. The administrator initiates the process by entering the domain into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Microsoft 365 responds by generating a unique TXT string. The administrator takes that string and manually applies it to their external DNS host. Upon returning to Microsoft 365 and clicking Verify, Microsoft reaches out across the internet to query the DNS host. The host returns the matching TXT record, completing the secure loop, and Microsoft 365 proudly reports that the domain is verified and safely bound to your tenant. Verification only proves ownership. To actually make the services work, we must configure service-specific DNS records. Think of DNS records as the internet's traffic cops. You will deploy MX records to direct incoming email to Exchange Online and name and SRV records to route traffic for Microsoft Teams and device management via Intune. Without these specific records, the internet simply doesn't know where to send your data, rendering your M365 services useless. You perform this configuration by matching the exact values provided by the M365 Managed DNS wizard into your registrar's portal. Here is a crucial deep dive tip for migrations. Order of operations matters immensely. You must provision your M365 user accounts and mailboxes before you update the MX record. If you flip the MX record first, incoming mail will arrive at Microsoft 365, find no mailboxes, and immediately bounce. Preparation ensures zero downtime. This diagram demystifies how external traffic is handled once your DNS is configured. When traffic hits the internet looking for your domain, the DNS record type dictates the destination. Inbound email follows the MX record directly into Exchange Online. Device enrollment requests follow specific name records straight into Microsoft Intune. Communication traffic relies on SRV records to find Microsoft Teams. Finally, security validation relies on TXT records for SPF and DKIM, ensuring your outbound mail isn't flagged as spam. It is a beautifully orchestrated routing system that relies entirely on precise DNS management. Moving away from DNS, let's look at the user experience. The organization profile is your tenant's digital storefront. Found under Org Settings, this is where you define your official company name, technical contacts, and critically, your visual branding. You can upload custom logos and set exact HEX color codes for the top navigation bar. Why bother with branding? It's actually a security feature. Consistent, recognizable branding assures users they are logging into legitimate corporate portals, which significantly mitigates the risk of credential harvesting phishing attacks. You can create a total of 5 themes, 1 default theme for everyone, and up to 4 customized group themes. Taking this a step further, these group themes must be mapped to Microsoft 365 groups. This means you can display a different logo and color scheme for your marketing subsidiary versus your engineering division, creating highly tailored environments within a single tenant. This visual breaks down the organizational branding architecture. From the organization profile, you establish a default theme that cascades to all unassigned users. Concurrently, you can spin up group themes. Notice how Group Theme 1 is explicitly mapped to Microsoft 365 Group A, granting those specific members a unique logo and color palette. This architecture ensures that branding is automatically applied based on directory membership, requiring zero manual intervention once the rules are established. Branding protects the user, but org settings protect the data. This section acts as the master control switch for your external collaboration boundaries. The most critical configuration here is external sharing, which dictates whether your employees can share SharePoint documents and OneDrive files with external guests. Why is this so critical? You must strike a delicate balance between enabling seamless B2B collaboration and preventing accidental data leakage. You can globally toggle these settings right in the Admin Center, alongside enforcing security defaults like mandatory multi-factor authentication. But here is the advanced architectural concept. The org settings define the maximum ceiling of permissiveness. While you might globally allow guest sharing to foster teamwork, you can still dive into the SharePoint Admin Center to enforce strict, no guest sharing policies on highly sensitive sites, like those owned by finance or legal. It is a layered defense model. Let's trace the permissions hierarchy in this flowchart. It starts at the top with M365 org settings. If global external sharing is disabled, the path stop strict compliance is enforced tenant-wide. However, if enabled, it establishes the tenant maximum permissiveness. The policy then trickles down to the SharePoint Admin Center, where administrators make granular decisions. They can leave general sites open for sharing, while explicitly blocking external access on sensitive sites. This proves that org settings set the boundaries, but service-level controls enforce the precision. Our final core configuration area within org settings focuses on the human element, people settings. This is a unified location where IT admins manage employee data visibility and the profile card experience. Here, you manage modern workplace features such as profile card enrichment, audio name pronunciations, and the display of pronouns across Microsoft 365. Why do we care? Because a rich, inclusive directory fosters seamless communication and builds a respectful corporate culture, especially in large, distributed teams. To manage this without granting full global admin rights, you can assign the specialized people administrator role, adhering to the principle of least privilege. Crucially, enabling features like pronouns at the tenant level simply activates the capability. It empowers users with the choice to display their pronouns on their profile cards, fully respecting individual privacy without enforcing mandates. This diagram showcases the people settings workflow. The global or people admin accesses the org settings. They have the authority to activate profile card enrichment, name pronunciation, and the pronouns toggle. Notice what happens after the pronouns toggle is activated. It flows into a user choice decision gate. If the user opts in, the data is displayed across their M365 profile. If they do nothing or opt out, the data remains hidden. This elegantly demonstrates how tenant configurations empower end-user autonomy. To bring this all together, let's look at a highly critical, real-world use case, a corporate acquisition. Contoso has just acquired Fabricam, and we must integrate them into our tenant. Step 1, we go into org settings, add fabricam.com, and verify ownership using a TXT record. Step 2 requires discipline. Before touching email routing, we provision all the Fabricam user accounts and update their usernames to the verified domain. Step 3 is the actual cutover. We update the MX, name, and SRV records at Fabricam's DNS host, instantly routing their inbound email, Teams, and mobile device traffic securely into our Microsoft 365 environment. Finally, Step 4, to make the acquired employees feel welcome, we leverage the organization profile. We create a custom group theme mapped specifically to the Fabricam user group, ensuring they see their familiar logo when they log in. We have seamlessly executed an M&A technical integration using core M365 org configurations. Observe the seamless sequence of an acquisition migration. The admin first secures the identity by verifying the domain via TXT records. Next, the critical step of provisioning user accounts occurs before traffic is moved. Once the accounts are ready, the admin updates the MX and name records at the DNS host, swinging mail and data traffic into the M365 tenant. The admin then applies a custom theme. Finally, the newly acquired Fabricam staff log in, see their familiar branding, and begin seamless collaboration within their new digital home. This is the power of mastering Microsoft 365 organization configurations.